Okay, video number 3 of packing for a business trip. So I've got my two suit supply suits, 3 ties, and I've got 1, 2, 3 dress shirts here. Actually, is that 4 dress shirts? 3 dress shirts here, and a couple of others off to the side. These have been ironed, so I'm going to try at least to keep them hung up. The others I'll just toss in the bag, and I'll iron when I get there. They're both Oxford cloth shirts, which are pretty okay not to have ironed. I like to have an extra shirt for the amount of days that I think I'm going to need it. So this is a 5-day, actually a 4-day business trip. So I'm going to bring 5 shirts, but my entire trip is a week because I'm going to do a side trip. So I need some casual clothes for that as well. Moving on, shoes. So for 7 days, obviously wearing 1 pair of shoes on the flight, which will be these Cordovan loafers. I won't bring these shoe trees. I will bring a pair of shoe trees, but I won't bring 2. But the loafers are great, obviously. They'll work with the suits. I mean, we guys who are into clothes know that suits, and just moving through and looking at some of my luggage here, you can see the stains on some of it, which we'll get to later on. In terms of the shoes, they're going to be great because they are going to work equally well off-duty, meaning, you know, with a pair of jeans and a or corduroys or something like that. They can slip on and off, so which is handy on a business trip. They're comfortable, they're unlined, so they'll work well. I'll wear them onto the plane tomorrow, and I bring my shoe tree and shoe brush. A lot of stuff goes along with bringing good shoes on a trip. The other pair is this pair of Alden Dover, it's basically a plain-toed blucher on a Barry Last, which is kind of a big shoe, and also on the oil-treated sole. I think Alden calls it their Flex Welt. Super comfortable. And so anyway, these will go in bags with the shoe trees. So I have a pair of shoe trees because I want to make sure that I'm taking care of my shoes and drying them out in between wears. 2 pairs of shoes, meaning that the loafers will be worn tomorrow, and 1 other day probably of the 4, and then the shoe will be worn on alternate days. And I bring my shoe brush. A little bit of shoe maintenance at the end of the day is always called for with this kind of shoe.